This is the
Brighter Spectrum podcast,
where we illuminate the world of parenting children with autism. I'm CJ, a proud dad to a wonderful 6-year-old with autism. Through my journey, I've discovered the challenges, triumphs, and unique experiences that come with raising a child on the spectrum. Inspired by those experiences, I created this space where parents like you can find understanding, share stories, and learn from each other. Join me as we explore insights, strategies, and support, all while celebrating the brighter spectrum of our children's lives. Now, let's dive in and cast light on this path together. Joining me today, we have two different kind of guests. Normally we have strangers come onto the show, and today we're going to get a little more personal with it. Sitting down with me are my mom and my stepmom, who have obviously been around since the birth of my son and have been able to witness and experience everything that I have for the most part, and kind of develop a grandparent's perspective on what it's like to kind of suspect that your little one has autism, the different things that they noticed, and what it was like for them as grandparents to become grandparents, to suspect autism, and then, kind of how they experience it in their own way from, not being a direct parent, but like I said, a grandparent situation. Mom, Lori, thanks for hanging out today. I guess we can just hop right in. You guys have been around, since day one with him, and kind of let's start it from there. Let's hear your story.
I guess I spent a lot of time, Lori and I, playing with Logan during the week and sometimes on the weekends. He was just a perfectly normal baby boy, and then all of a sudden he wasn't. And I don't really know what I'm supposed to say, but there was a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. At first, I didn't know what it was, but Lori and I would talk, be like, something is not right. Now I'm scared because I have to tell my child that his child is not okay. We didn't know at first, so we did a lot of research. This was weeks in the making. And Lori found an autism channel on YouTube, and we started watching all of that. And we just knew he was autistic. And as he grew, it seemed like he was doing less and less. Probably about 18 months old,
yeah,
Lori?
Like that.
We started to be suspicious. He was probably a little closer to 2 when I told you that I'm pretty sure he had it. And Chris went into denial mode, which is always the first mode. Logan was probably 2.5 or so, closer to 3. Chris was like, there is something wrong, and I'm going to do what I have to do, even though Logan's mother was still not listening. And he started the process, but all along, I think my biggest thing is the fear, and I still have it. Though Logan's been in school for 1 year, and in that 1 year, he's changed a lot. So now I have hope, which I didn't have before. It doesn't seem like it to some people because he's so not a normal 6-year-old, but he's changed a lot. He actually communicates to Nana and Gammy and tells us what he wants, but before that, there was no communication, no eye contact. I never knew if he even had any idea that we were trying to shower him with love and buy him presents, and I had no idea if he knew. It was that bad. Logan was very, what's the word, Chris? He was nonverbal, non-communicative. Not communicative, not, like you just didn't know if you were getting through at all.
I think we had some really different perspectives because at the time I'm a first-time parent, and I know he's supposed to be hitting some milestones, but I'm not really 100% on what those milestones are supposed to be. And then, what were some of the milestones that you guys were looking for with him that you noticed he really wasn't hitting at the time? And that was kind of your first that's strange.
I actually wasn't really looking for milestones because I've learned that not all children do things the same time. Christopher, you spoke in full sentences at 8 months old. It was unbelievable. Then there was your brother who said mom and cracker until he was 2.5. He didn't even start talking. I wasn't really looking for milestones. It's just the normal playing, I think. Right, Lori?
Yes.
Just when you're playing with them, they look at you, they interact, they ask for things, they tell you what they want, and Logan wasn't doing it. They'll sit in your lap and read a book. You tell them, come sit with Nana. They come to you. The I love you, Nana. I love you, Gammy. Yay, Nana's here. I mean, sometimes you could tell that he was happy to see us. But basically, there was nothing. There was nothing. I don't know how else to say it. Do you have a better...
No, but when he started stimming, I think that's when we first realized, really, because he was always like flapping his arms.
Flapping the arms
stuff.
and banging his head.
Yep.
I think it was the head banging for me. I didn't really think too much about the flapping because babies are weird. So I didn't think too much about that, but I think it was the head banging that did it for me, just like bouncing his head off the floor all the time. It was like...
I think it was the whole culmination. But, Christopher, you were a first-time dad, and we've raised you guys and half your friends. Like, we've had a bunch of kids. So I think it probably struck us first because the thing you don't have words for, we knew was there. I don't really know what the word would be, but we knew. And that's when the fear and anxiety started, because I'm immediately, up until last year, when he got out of school, even, I would burst into tears crying at home, thinking about it, thinking, my baby is going to have no quality of life, none. He can't communicate anything. He doesn't interact with anything. And it was terrifying. And I don't really think I ever really spoke to you about those fears, because you need to remember that you are my baby. And you had your hands full enough, and I didn't want to point out to you. But we cried about it a lot. We were terrified. Now, since his first year of school, like I said, we now also have hope. Right now, he's playing a video game. I'm amazed. He wouldn't do that. He would just kind of stare at screens. He's playing. He's talking to it. That's what you all hear. He hugs the animals. He looks for them. He looks for particular toys. He has, it's rare, but he has said, I love you, Nana, without being prompted. It's rare, but he does it. Am I allowed to tell my sneaker story? About his sneakers?
The Hey Dudes.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
I have always wondered, even though he doesn't communicate or react, are things getting in there? And it was only a couple months ago, maybe 2 months ago, that I knew he did. Because when he really wants something expensive that Daddy isn't willing to get him, he's now come to Nana and Gammy a couple times now and asked for expensive things. The last one, hysterical story. He ran to me. He came in the door and ran right to Nana and said, Nana, I want dudes. I just looked at him and said, yeah, we're not having this discussion for at least 6 more years. And Christopher, you started cracking up and you were like, Mom, he's asking you for sneakers. He wants Hey Dudes. So he at least was asking for something specific that he wanted. And I, of course, bought them 15 minutes later. We went right to the shoe store. But he was communicating a want. And it was something a normal kid wants, a particular shoe. So now I at least have hope. I don't think I'm communicating well, but it's the terror. It's the anxiety.
Yep.
Hey, the listeners...
Logan Jared.
The listeners are used to hearing him, but he is vocal today.
It's because he's playing a game. So, I don't know. Do you want to add anything, Lori?
You pretty much summed it up.
Yeah. She said I pretty much summed it up. It's the wonderful knowledge that, yes, even though we didn't know for years that he was actually absorbing anything, he was absorbing everything. He just couldn't communicate. the anxiety, the fear. Now there's hope because you see him improving. Even this naughtiness he's doing right now is a wonderful thing because it wasn't there before.
All right, so kind of like that whole realization process and the whole coming together and trying to figure out how to communicate your concerns, and then we progress forward and we get him his evaluation. It comes back with an autism diagnosis and an intellectual disability. When we finally got that diagnosis, like how was that for you guys? Like mentally and emotionally, was it like relieving? Was it what you expected? Was it more?
Oh, I knew it was coming back. I
was relieved, I think.
Yeah,
more.
that they're telling you that
Telling you,
yes,
yeah.
it's wrong.
Yep.
I don't know how much of I don't know what they mean by intellectual disability, and I don't.
It's the polite way of saying retardation now.
But see, I don't know if I agree with that because what I see him doing is phenomenal. Like I know he can read. Just picking up things in my house that he would have no way of knowing what it says and reading me the titles.
Oh yeah, I had him reading by the age of 3.
He can read, but the thing is, you can't say, Logan, read me the story. He won't do it. But he randomly reads a whole bunch of stuff.
If you catch him in a good mood, he'll read you the book.
Okay, well, I don't live with him. I've never had him agree to. I've had him agree to read a bunch of things I didn't want him reading. But like when he tried to steal my coloring book, he could read. He said,
Yep.
"But Nana, it's jungle magic. He would know what. No way he would know what that said. It's not like I've ever said
No
it.
way. No.
And a couple other things he's read on my kitchen table. Like he can read. He's not intellectually disabled.
I just had a previous guest on. We were kind of talking about that a little bit. And it's my personal theory that doctors obviously can't tell you, hey, I'm going to do this thing to help you. It's not real, but I want to help you. I think the doctor gave the diagnosis that way just so that getting him services would be easier for me,
I think he's kind of intellectually not disabled, intellectually not neurotypical. Like, he knows things, but he doesn't do the normal things. He does different
challenged maybe,
things.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
he's challenged.
Maybe, yeah.
He just doesn't have the kind of brain that makes him pay attention to things that he's not interested in.
Exactly.
So were there any besides the head bang and arm flap, were there any physical features that maybe you noticed that maybe were a little off, or did he just look very typical?
No, Logan is beautiful. Logan, and that's not just because I'm his Nana. Logan looks like an angel. He is gorgeous. He is gorgeous, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
He is gorgeous. He looks like a little model baby. Nothing physical about him.
I don't
His
think so.
body is perfect. His legs are... Nothing is, if you mean, did he look funny to us? Like different, as if he had Down syndrome? No. He's perfect. He's beautiful. It was his behaviors or his lack of them that kind of hit us.
Yes.
And made us start investigating. Because before I was going to tell you, I wanted to make sure I was right.
So before the first school year started, because we got him his diagnosis, he started school 6 months after his diagnosis. And that whole process was a giant headache in itself. Before school started and he had these behaviors, and we kind of started working with him in a way to kind of get ready for school. What were you guys thinking going into the school year about where he was developmentally, and how did you think school was going to go for him?
I thought it was going to be a disaster.
Yep.
We thought it was going to be I was still crying all the time. Crying, saying,
nervous for him. Yep.
he's never going to be okay. What's going to happen to him when we're not here to protect him? I was terrified.
Because whatever they're doing there is working.
Lori and I were both terrified. And I'm not using that word just as a word to throw out. Genuine terror, genuine anxiety, genuine fear.
Yeah, his teacher and the staff that assist her in that classroom, they're really, really good with these kids. They do a lot with them.
if I had children right now, if you children were little right now, I would never put you in school. No way. You'd be homeschooled. I don't like what's going on in schools. The exception, whatever the special needs teachers are doing, it's exactly where he needs to be. The change, even though to an outsider looking in, he's still way behind, but the change was phenomenal in a few short months. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, I really think that I really think that
Logan's participating today.
he is very vocal today. I mean, usually he's on here doing a little something, but today he is really on here. Hey, don't.
He's yelling at Crash. Just let
He
him
loves
know.
to yell at Crash.
He's his grandmother's child.
So I really think that the best thing that he got out of that school year last year was how vocal they made him. Like it feels like they really put a large emphasis on that speech therapy aspect of his education, and just being able to, talk to him and ask him questions and get back answers. And like, it's not fluent English, obviously, but
Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't.
it really depends.
Right. Sometimes I understand him perfectly, and other times I'm
much
not
of a
sure what he's
difference.
telling me to do. So I just resort to, Logan, do you want this, yes or no? And he'll say yes or no.
Yeah. Yeah, well, sometimes, and like just his ability to like let me know what he needs and stuff. It was just like this huge, just this absolute, it was night and day. It was like he went into that school year, one kid, and he came out another kid. And,
Thank God.
well, that's kind of where I'm getting at with you.
Thank God, because it was terrifying.
Like, obviously, when we got the diagnosis, it was a relief. Like, we had a diagnosis, we could finally start getting him the help that he needs. He finally starts getting that help that he needs, and he starts just turning pages rapidly. He went from going nowhere to sprinting.
Maybe at some point he'll even be able to be independent. It's going to take a lot longer than 18 years, but
I hope so.
he's starting.
Yeah. So, I mean, after after that first school year, you see him for the first time this summer. He, the first time that he's really like running around for a couple of hours at the house. Hey, we don't do that.
Logan, can you chill out just a little bit for Nana so that we can do this? And then we'll look at Crash Bandicoot together, okay? Just be a little bit quieter, okay? I love you. Thank you. Okay.
So like, what was that like first experience like when I brought him over to the house and he's running around and he actually like talked
Asked
to
us
you?
for something. Shocking.
That was amazing.
I think I cried that day too.
I think so.
But I don't even remember what he asked for. He came to us and asked for something specific. Was it the cranberry muffins or something?
Banana, I think.
A banana?
I think he said banana.
It was something
Can
to
I have
eat.
a banana, yep.
Yeah. And we both kind of looked at each other like, yeah, here, have two. It's like, it was a shock. I think that's
Yeah.
the same exact day that he said, I love you, Nana, for the first time without Christopher saying, tell Nana you love her. He just said it. Love you, Nana. I'm pretty sure I cried that day. A lot, but for a completely different reason.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is like.
It was phenomenal. It was like, thank God that you were able to, I don't want to put your business out there, but you have a battle to be fighting, even though we know what's wrong with him.
Right.
And just the diagnosis and knowing that was going to make you fight even more, and just this change, because you have been advocating for your child and getting what he needs, and it is changing him, and it gives hope from complete terror to just a little bit scared, but having hope.
From like the grandparents' perspective, then, because you guys have all raised multiple kids, and as parents, 90% of our day is spent worrying about our kids, and sometimes more than that because we dream about worrying about our kids.
Baby,
Yes, we
that's never going to change.
Right.
You're how old now?
I'll be 36.
Yeah, we talk about you and worry about you every day.
Right. what is it like to worry about the autistic grandchild in comparison to the way you're used to worrying about children?
That's hard to describe. It's hard to describe. She's so quiet. I wish she'd talk.
Always quiet.
Your normal 6-year-old is old enough to send him to the basement with his video game and he's cool. Our baby, you need to keep an eye on because you're not sure. Like I was just watching him start to bang himself in the head with the controller. If that had continued, I need to stop that. I can't allow an injury. I didn't worry about you smacking yourself in the head with a controller. It's different worries. I don't know that it's different type of worrying. The worrying is worrying. You worry about different things with an autistic child than you do with your regular child. You know, I worried about you running out in the street, getting hit by a car, wandering off, stranger danger, somebody saying, I got a puppy, and you taking off. Worried about that stuff. I don't worry about that with him because we never take our eyes off of him.
This is true.
But I worry about him hurting himself, like sneaking away on those few moments like that when we're talking and he jolts out and falling down steps or hitting his head too hard on the floor when he decides to throw a fit and cracking his skull. Like I worry about more injuries with him. Mm-hmm. With you, I worried about more, what are you going to get into kind of things. Because you weren't always in my line of vision. Mm-hmm. A normal child goes off and plays with their friends. You had Freddie and playing in your room and whatever. He's not there yet. He still needs supervision at all times. It's a different kind of worry. You worry about different things.
But he's a lot better than it used to be.
Yeah, but that's not what he asked.
Yeah, that's true.
He wanted to know what worries do you have? Do you worry differently? No. Worry is worry. I just worry about different things.
Oh. What about like hopes and aspirations, right? Like you hope your kids grow up, you hope they become successful, you hope they, kind of do it in life. Like in the scenario here, where the reality is with him is that it's not going to be like that when he's older. Well, there's a pretty good chance with him.
I know that, but Chris, after what I've seen him change this year, I'm still holding out hope that one day he'll be all right if he has to be by himself.
Yeah, I mean, the reality, though, is he's not going to run a Fortune 500 company at some point.
No.
Like, he doesn't have that sort of potential. He could potentially have, like, meaningful work for himself and be able to pay rent and stuff for an apartment or something like that. But the idea of him leading a very neurotypical, what you would see sort of career and lifestyle, that the reality of that is it's not going to be that way. So like
my prayer is that I'm not going to be here forever. Neither are you. And by the time you're not here and able to care for him, my prayer is that he can care for his basic happiness by himself. That he can have a reasonable, a little job. We have some special needs people working for us at Wawa. Mm-hmm. And they're great, and they're helpful, and it's meaningful, and it's purposeful work. He can maybe do that, too. Mm-hmm. Pay a little rent. He might even be, they have group homes where, like, 3 men will live in one home together. They all have somebody that comes in and checks on them. That might be his case, but I'm hoping he gets there. Because that gives him a meaningful life, a happy life. Mm-hmm. That's what I hope for. With you growing up, I didn't expect any of you to run a Fortune 500 company, and I have 3 of you, and you're all different.
Right, but, let's go ahead, like, you would hope, like, I hope you have a good career. I hope you're able to purchase a home. I hope you have a nice family. Yes. I hope you have a happy life.
That's the bottom line. Maybe you don't want a family. Our hopes for our children are that they grow up, can take care of themselves, that they become good men and women, and that they're happy, whatever that looks like for them.
He's happy.
I still want the same for him.
I mean, for him, like in my perspective here, like, when I look at I hope he's able to maybe have.
Does he have access to your credit card?
No.
Okay.
I hope he has the ability to, have a job and get an apartment. Realistically, I'm preparing for the fact that my son will live with me forever.
Again, they do have group homes, though, that as he's older, in his 30s, you might want to, if he can't do it on his own, transition him to those and go see him all the time, because you're not going to live forever. See, they do have homes where they're
right, and I mean we'll get there when we get there. And
right.
I'm hoping that we can do that with him, but. For me, like as his dad, like aspiration wise, where my hope is at is, I hope he learns how to make friends.
I do too.
Same.
He's actually gotten better with that too.
I think
Lori and I would take him to the park. That was probably the first sign, but we didn't place it right away. Mm-hmm. We would take him to the park, and all the children were playing and on the equipment and going up the slides and down the slides, and our baby just stood between us and watched. But go, Logan, go play. He was a year and a half, 2.5, 3 years old. Go play. And he would just stand there and watch for like an hour. He would not leave us. He would not go to play. He might wander over and sit at the end of a slide and watch all the kids, but he would not join them.
Yeah.
And you could see the other children coming to the park and joining all the kids that were there.
Yep.
He does that now. When we would take him to Kids Castle. Now that's closed, which sucks, but that's a year ago, and he was doing it. Mm-hmm. He was going to Kids Castle and going up and playing with the other children who were, surprisingly enough, I mean, even to a child, it's obvious that Logan's a little different. They played with him. Mm-hmm. So all he really needs to do is make himself available, and he's doing that. So I think he can make friends.
Yeah, I really hope that he manages to
learn the difference between good friends and bad friends.
Like that and like, be able to intentionally create and maintain relationships on his own.
I hope so.
Without like other people needing to approach him first. And maybe he'll always need people to approach him first. And like with the stuff like the kids playing with him at the the child centers and stuff we would go to, I think that modern days now people are a lot more aware of autism as a whole, and especially
and other
like
special needs, like all kinds,
and
of
especially like in schools and stuff, they're like really pushing these kids to have some sort of sensitivity to that and like have a little more understanding. So it's not always like when I was a kid, it was like, oh, that's the weird kid. It's like, oh no, that's the kid.
Bullying is tolerated much less.
I don't know if it's tolerated less so much as I feel like parents and teachers are really making an active effort to create an understanding with today's kids that these kids they're not weird or strange. Like they're perfectly fine and they're nice, but you have to interact with them differently for them to understand that you want to interact with them. And I find that like a lot of times when I'm hanging out with Logan, a lot of father-son bonding time is just him sitting next to me doing his own thing and then I'm doing my own thing. And sometimes he wants to interact directly, like if we go fishing or something like that. But a lot of times he's doing what he wants to do and I'm doing what I want to do. Oh, you want to say hi?
Hi.
Oh, okay. You want to tell the microphone your name? What's your name? Okay. Hey, what's your name? Tell your name.
I'm Santa.
You're not Santa.
Are you Logan?
Oh, he said it's
Look
Santa.
at the cats.
Yeah, there's some cats. All right, do you want to say your name is Logan? No? No, we're getting shy on the microphone? Okay. I'm not buying you Grand Theft Auto. That's not happening.
That's why I asked you if he knows how to use your credit card, because he knows how to shop online.
Oh, yeah, he does know how to shop online. So
I'm watching him.
And that's another thing about having an autistic child. Every single thing, even like in my phone and whatnot, anything that requires a purchase is passworded.
But that is my point. A child incapable of learning can't do that. Did you teach him to shop online?
No.
Yeah, well, he's doing it. I'm sitting here watching him. That's why I said, does he have access to your credit card?
Thank God.
He can learn. He just is in our world differently. Yep. He interacts in our world differently.
Yeah. Something else I thought was kind of funny, and maybe you guys are like there with that too, is that I didn't take these from you because I wanted you to get other ones, Guy. No, we're not playing with this toy right now because it's very loud.
Oh, that's what the sticks were.
You can play with that toy later. You can play with that toy. Don't touch that either. Hey, go play your game. Go play your game.
Don't touch the buttons.
Yeah, don't
Remember
touch the
how you're
buttons.
going to be good and a little bit quiet, and then Nana will check out Crash Bandicoot when we're done, remember?
Don't touch the buttons.
Right, don't touch the buttons. Good job.
Don't touch the buttons.
Right, don't touch the buttons.
Hubba,
But.
can you let us finish, and then we'll play Crash Bandicoot together?
Oh, I love you too. Your love hurts so much sometimes.
Come here, baby. Sit with Nana.
Yeah, we got to stim a little bit.
Stim a little bit, yep.
Okay, we love ourselves. All right. Oh, okay, you're gonna join the.
Don't touch the buttons.
All right, don't touch the buttons. That's right.
Don't touch the buttons.
All right, we're not gonna touch the buttons.
Don't touch the buttons.
Correct.
No button touching.
Touch the button.
This is like the most ridiculous episode I've ever recorded.
He doesn't talk in your other episodes.
He does once in a while, but not like this.
Well, because we're Nana.
very vocal,
He's completely comfortable with Nana.
Yeah.
Nana and Gammy are sitting here. We're toys.
Yeah, he's definitely doing a lot, and you know, I remember interacting with my grandparents and some of the stuff they expected from me, and you know, a lot of the love they showed me, and I guess what something that'd be interesting to talk about is like, what was it like for you guys when like you realized he understood your relationship?
Touch the buttons.
Elation.
Don't touch.
What else would it be?
Super happy, yep.
Like nothing in my entire life brought more joy than that. A lot of wonderful things in my life, and Chris, I love you, but being grandma is a whole new experience.
Touch the buttons.
And that
It sure is.
was pure elation. Knowing that I was Nana and he was happy about that, and he loved his Nana and his Gammy, and it was a wonderful thing. And he couldn't wait to see Nana and Gammy. And that was pure elation.
Yes, it was.
Because he tells on me to you guys.
Yeah.
He snitches on me.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does.
When I don't want him to do something, I tell him no or something.
Dice.
No, you can't have the dice.
We can't.
Right, you can't. But like if I'm telling him no or something like that, he will actively tattle on me.
Yeah, he does.
And there are actual times where like he's in trouble or he needs to be in timeout, and he'll go call Nana, and I'm like, no, I'm not calling Nana. Hey,
Because Nana,
no, we
Gammy
don't
and
do
Nana
that.
pretty much let him have
Logan.
his way about everything.
More or less, yeah.
We don't do that to animals. No,
Not a toy.
you're staying in here.
Right.
It's not a toy, right?
Oh, it is a handful though. It is a handful.
I got this.
He's just leaving.
No.
Little man.
It's not.
It is. You have to let us finish, and then we'll go play something else. But the longer you act up, yeah, I know. The longer it's going to take to finish. Nana love you.
I think he's got a dirty butt too.
Nana loves Logan. But we have to finish. Okay.
Crying wolf.
You're crying wolf?
He's crying wolf. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Come here. He just said he's crying wolf. So you two have to talk for a minute. I have to take care of him.
Okay, well, Nana has stepped away to attend the young man. Gammy. I mean, you obviously didn't know me for most of my life, so there was like this new sort of relationship that was forming, and then bringing you into his life. Kind of like, what is that like for you in that aspect? Like, you know, being introduced to a new family, and then having, you know, Logan become a part of your life as much as he has. Like, you know, talk to us about that.
Change you and then you can play.
Well, I met him when he was about 5 months old. And oh my God, he's just the cutest little thing. And it was funny because I used to come to the house, sit with him on the couch. We'd watch TV together. And then I remember him coming to our house, and we made him dinner, and he ate all the stuff we made, and it was just being a grandmother, because my kids, God love them, they don't have any children yet. I'm waiting, but yeah, it was a great feeling. I love him so much. I just don't even know.
So, him being the first grandchild for you and having autism, say your other kids do have children and they become neurotypical, or do you think like that's gonna like affect like kind of how you perceiving a grandparent in a way? Like, are you kind of beyond like kind of on edge? You know, like waiting to see like, you know, signs and symptoms of autism in the other ones, or what do you think that's going to be like for you?
No, I don't think so, because most children don't have autism. So, I mean,
nowadays they do.
well, not really. I mean, most children are born without autism. So, I mean, I think I'm not really worried about it. And since we have Logan now, we know kind of what to expect. So if we see signs of autism in any children my kids might have,
Little one.
be easier to understand and deal with.
It'd certainly be interesting to like see like because you're very accustomed to the interactions that you have with him, and just seeing like how like, you know, if those sort of interactions like automatically bleed over to like other grandchildren, and then have them look at you like, what are you doing?
That might be a thing.
I was going to say that, yeah, well, exactly. That might be a thing, yeah. Definitely.
You know, because like he's obviously very accustomed to it all, you know.
Yes, he is.
And
I couldn't get to the garbage bag, so don't let me forget.
it's I think that's going to be very interesting to see. So like I guess kind of like the other thing that I really want to know is like, because you guys come, you're Gen X, you know, and obviously the idea of autism and whatnot wasn't really like a thing when you guys were young. And
You never heard of anybody having autism? No.
so like what is it like having like your backgrounds growing up and the way the world ran, and now you seeing it the way it is now, and how we're interacting with these people and getting them, you know, the services and the assistance they need, and raising these children on a whole, because obviously parenting is way different. Like, you know, back in your day, if you lipped off to your parents, they'd probably smack you in your head. You know, that's not something we do with our most of us don't do that with our neurotypical children now, and it's not even an option with the
I did
kids with
slap
autism.
you when you were a teenager a couple times.
I know, I was there.
I don't agree with all of the new child rearing. I agree with building a conscience and building integrity. But I do think the education that we have now and the understanding that we have now and the places we can go to get advice and alternative methods is a wonderful thing.
Right. Right. I guess like the question I'm asking now is like, so say like when it comes to something like discipline, right? Where you would have disciplined a child a certain kind of way, you know, especially like when you were a new parent, or like the way you saw your parents discipline you, and those methods of discipline don't even have a functional place with a kid with autism. So
No.
is that sort of like being a brand new parent all over again in that scenario?
Yeah, like a teenage parent. As in,
Yes.
it's so like sometimes I ask you all the time, Chris, what should I do? That's a weird experience, asking your child to tell you what I should do in certain situations, because you're the one talking to all the doctors and the medical professionals. And I don't want to harm him.
No, me neither.
And I know he's not you or either of your brothers. So it is like being a confused teenage parent, because I don't know what to do sometimes. And the
Same
panic,
thing,
this
yeah.
child's eating habits scare the crap out of me. And he wasn't always like that. He used to eat
That's what I said.
everything.
He used to come to our
Now
house
he
and
survives
eat all
on
the
chicken nuggets and cranberry muffins.
That's actually like a really common thing in the autism community. Like the kids will start out and they'll eat all kinds of stuff,
Yeah,
and then the
it's scary.
pickiness
And then
kicks
you-
in.
Yep.
And I know that's why I like had the discussions with Dr. Williams, who's the feeding director for Penn State, and like he even was like, hey, his diet is actually pretty good, especially for a kid with autism, and maybe get him like a multivitamin or something if possible. But for the most part, it's not bad. And it's actually like a running joke in the autism community that kids with autism are, holding up the chicken nugget industry single-handedly.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got a lot to say today.
He really does. It's like they're it's kind of amazing. He's never this vocal.
It's usually you and him and a guest he doesn't know.
But even like when it's like me and Marissa and we're hanging out with him, or if it's like me and his uncle and his cousin we're hanging out with him, he's never this vocal.
He talks to us all the time. When he's at our house, he never shuts up.
Oh.
We even say, thank God we can now understand at least half of what he says.
Yes.
He does come off with a lot of gibberish sometimes. And like a lot of times like he uses English words,
When
but
he wants you to know what he wants, he finds a way to make it clear.
he really I think the biggest thing with him though with like the talking and stuff is learning his language, because like he uses English words but has his own definitions for them.
Kind of.
Like I'm stuck is probably the most versatile word in his vocabulary.
That means I'm not happy with whatever it is.
Right, but like he
He's never actually been stuck.
right in the last couple of months. Well, it was so funny last night. He got stuck. Yeah, he got stuck in the toy box. And he was actually stuck, and I was working on something, and all I'm hearing is, I'm stuck, and I thought he was just complaining.
And you're ignoring it.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, he's fine, he's just mad at something. And I turn around, and he's legitimately stuck. I'm like, oh my God, and like he directs it at people now. So like if he's mad at you, he'll look at somebody else and go, she's stuck.
Watch it.
I am watching it.
Watch it.
I'm watching you be a crazy kid today.
You want?
You can play Fall Guys. Go play Fall Guys.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
You ready? You do it.
You do it.
We're going to do it after the podcast. You're really interrupting.
Oh,
Logan
no.
Jarrett. Logan, my love.
You're very about this show
My
today.
beautiful boy.
Stop.
You are being very disruptive, and I would like to get this done at some point this week. Don't do that.
No.
Oh.
Well, it's better than the controller.
Oh, what a
Buddy, I will play the game with you. You just gotta live, Daddy. I have a couple more minutes. It's gonna be so much editing. I'm gonna have to title this like the Benny Hill episode, right?
Oh,
Like,
there you go. Me and my mom, the Benny Hill episode.
Right?
no, but it really is. It's like interesting to like see like somebody from like an older generation who has. You good? You got it out?
It's
Oh.
You're like Larry Moe and Crowley over here.
Yeah, like somebody from like the older generation who's used to things, to see something be exposed to this on a whole new level, and then like have to overcome a completely brand new set of like emotions and mental challenges and whatnot, and it's almost like re-experiencing becoming a parent all over again, which has to really throw you guys for a loop.
Yeah, it does. And we of course aren't his parents, so he's not with us 24/7. So, and not that I think you're an awesome dad, but when he's not with us, I think we spend 80% of our time talking about Logan and worrying about how he is.
We definitely do.
Being terrified, being like, do you think he's okay? Mm-hmm. I hope Chris has him, and well, you know how I feel about that. But I hope Chris has him. Do you think he ate today? What do you think he did in school? I mean, how many times a week do I call you and say, do you have Logan? How is he? What did he do?
Yeah.
At least 3 times a week I call you. It's just me thinking about him and worrying about him and wondering if he's okay.
I'm actually thinking about contacting his teacher to see if she wants to come on the show and do an episode, because,
She could give so much advice because she's done phenomenal with him.
Yes.
Right. And, she made me watch her kid all summer long.
Did you watch her?
Huh?
You watched his teacher's kid?
It was a joke.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
That took a minute.
The audacity of these teachers making us watch their kids all summer.
Logan Jarrett, no.
But no, because like they do a phenomenal job with him, and you know, he's had a ton of experiences this summer, and you know, between like the trips and stuff I've taken him on, and you know, camping and going to the aquariums and all of that.
Oh, he
And-
told us a lot about camping.
Yeah, he did.
He loves camping. He loves it.
Little short sentences and a couple, like he might say words like rocks, water, but he was telling us about camping. We knew that.
Yeah, and all the deer ticks that he managed to pick up. That was, whew.
You didn't tell me about that, darling.
Yeah, he
And
had.
neither did he.
He had a couple of them, and for the listeners, I don't know if you've ever tried to remove a tick from an autistic child, but that is about as fun as trying to remove one from a tiger. It miserable, and especially deer ticks. Oh my god!
You got to get it off him.
Right. You have like I think it's like 72 hours or 48 hours before they transmit Lyme.
Yeah, you and I are gonna have a chat when this podcast is
So
over.
so, you know, I mean, he got them and we got them off of him inside of like 8 hours, so he was fine obviously. But like camping, like I haven't had the stones to take him camping again.
It's
Since
been a very
that.
bad year for ticks. We have Freya on medication because of it.
Yeah. And like these kids, like it's tough too because like they see tall grass or they see like water and they just want to run into it. Like fear and like self-preservation it exists, but it's very low. You know.
Yeah.
It's not that children have never changed. They've been the same. What's changed is our environment and our world. There were always ticks, but not this many.
Right.
There was always water, but it wasn't poisoned with toxins and chemicals. You know, you drank out of a water hose. And I was cool with that. If I caught you doing that with him, we'd be fighting. You know, not because it's not a fun thing to do, but because it's a bad world. The world has changed. Too many chemicals. Too many, like our food even has antibiotics in it for no reason. You know, it's a different world. So their natural instincts are the same as yours. They just live in a different world.
Well, me and Marissa took him up to the lake to go hang out and swim and stuff. And I asked him if he was thirsty, and he said yes. And I said, let me get you a drink. And he stuck his head in the water and started drinking the lake.
Ooh, that's scary. They can get parasites.
Right. And I was like, oh my God, he's going to get sick. And he didn't.
Thank God they can. It's not the same world.
It was, but it's just like, but that's kind of like the point I'm trying to make is like with these kids with autism, they just like, everything's very literal and they sort of have these rose tinted glasses, right? Where like, if you're afraid of something, they don't know why it's a scary thing, but they're afraid of it too. Then they're like, Dad's afraid of it. Maybe it's something to look out for. Maybe I
Great,
shouldn't.
could you sit down and eat a big plate of broccoli in front of him? 'Cause
I
then
do.
maybe he will.
I do. So I actually have Dr. Williams' book. It's right over here, and I do a lot of the stuff. And I know it sounds like a really weird accomplishment, but he tried a different type of macaroni cheese last night and liked it and continued to eat it. It was like normally it's like Kraft. I made him the Velveeta kind, right, which is obviously
Better.
Right, that's the best one. And if you disagree, you're entitled to your wrong opinion. But like I made him like the Velveeta one, and then he says no, like he don't want to eat it, no. And he hands me the box of Kraft. He says the good one, and I'm like, that's the crappy one. Like, so last night, we had Wawa for dinner, and they like do like combo meals now. Mm-hmm. And it was just cheaper because like he wanted a bottle of water and like a little side. I'm like, all right. I'm like, I'll get mine as the combo, and then just cheaper. So he gets the macaroni and cheese and he comes back to the house, and then at first he actually tried it and he ate it. And I was using a technique out of Dr. Williams' book to do that. And I don't say like, well, macaroni and cheese is macaroni and cheese. It's not. And like when you're dealing with a kid with autism, all it has to do, right? It just has to look different.
We buy him cranberry orange muffins, and we bought blueberry the last time he wouldn't eat them.
Right.
They're muffins, But he wasn't having it.
Nope.
But to him it looks different. So no, that's a muffin. This is not a muffin. So that's the sort of like thing, and it was just like really amazing, like to see him do that.
The last time we were out to eat with you guys and you told me he's going to want mozzarella sticks, I almost fell over.
Yeah,
It's not exactly health food,
No,
but
but
it's
hey.
something different.
yeah,
Eating it, yeah.
yeah. And I honestly, like, I really attribute a lot of that to the broccoli boot camp book, and I feel like, this is not a paid advertisement. Like
We're using it.
Right. It's like I'm using the techniques that are in this book, and they are doing wonders. And if anybody's wondering, I believe that is episode 3. I'd have to look. I think it's 3 or 4. And it's feeding techniques and stuff with Dr. Keith Williams. If you
Which
haven't-
are helping.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to that episode yet, I would definitely recommend going back, listening to that, and maybe picking up his book, because it really is. It's making my life a little bit easier. Before we wrap up though, like what was that like? Like, because you grew up in that generation where it was like, you put what was put in front of you is what you ate. It wasn't a choice. There was no I don't like it.
I didn't really give you guys that choice either. The difference is we had to eat everything on our plate, and there were times I was genuinely over full. So I never made you guys eat everything on your plate. Not that was a problem once you became teenagers, but you would eat, and if you had a little bit of extra left you didn't want to eat, that was okay. But I always made you eat. You had to try everything. Once you were a little bit older, maybe 7 or 8, you guys ate everything. You had one of you hates lima beans. I can never remember which one.
It was me, but I
Okay.
actually love them now. I acquired a
Okay.
taste from them like
and tomatoes.
15
Neither
years
one
ago.
of you would eat tomatoes, and since that was the only 2 foods you wouldn't eat, I let you go with that, where our parents would never have.
No. Mm-mm.
I had to eat liver one night, and I sat there till 10 o'clock at night because I could not swallow it.
Right. Right, and like dealing with a kid with autism, like that's not even an option, right? Like, so
No,
like if they don't
I
want
couldn't
to,
do with him what I did with you guys. I took your food and put it in the refrigerator, and when you wanted a snack, I gave you back your food.
Yep.
that's what his doctor originally told, and I feel bad about it to this day. Like, something I feel really guilty about. Like, his pediatrician at the time was like, if you won't eat it, put it in the fridge. He'll eat it eventually. He went 3 days without eating.
Yeah, he won't eat. What he
And I was
doesn't
like, you know what? I'm giving him what he wants.
Yep.
And now there's like times where like, like I use the techniques in the book, like I mentioned and whatnot. And there are times he just will not try something, and like there's nothing you can do about it. There's no, well, please try it. There's none of that. Like, I can get him to lick things. I can get him to lick pretty much anything, but I can't actually get him to put most things in his mouth. And there's no disciplining that out of them. There's no forcing
You
them.
have to wait until he realizes something tastes good. When he was he even a year old? We took him to a buffet thing, and they had shrimp,
Oh my God. Yes.
like a fried shrimp. I put some on my plate, sat down. He ate everything off my plate. I went and got more. He ate more. That child at 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, he was not
Yeah,
a year
really,
old
he's not
yet.
that big, yeah.
Sat at that old country buffet and downed 3 plates of shrimp.
Yeah, he won't eat shrimp
Now,
anymore.
if I put a shrimp on a plate, he won't touch it.
Nope.
I can't understand the logic
It was like something like clicked
in his
like
brain
like
at about 2.
it was like closer to 3.
3, I think.
It was like closer to 3. And at first I thought it was because like I introduced him to like junk, like up until he was about 3, it was always like health foods, like fruits, vegetables, meats,
Yeah, but then he wouldn't eat
anything
them.
like that. And then one day I gave him a slice of pizza. And it was like overnight, like that point, it was like all of a sudden we're super picky about everything we eat.
He still eats pizza weird.
Right. He was also the only 3-year-old I've ever met that could eat almost an entire pizza by himself. It was insanity. Like,
I've seen him eat 4 slices.
yeah.
Yeah.
At least half a pizza, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where he
Yeah,
puts it.
no, he does. But now, like, it's chicken fingers or pizza rolls.
Mozzarella
And mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
Mozzarella sticks, yeah.
Yeah,
And mac and cheese.
pretty much. All right, well, I mean, at that point, like, it's been a fun conversation, obviously. We've had a pretty good time. We got a kind of like a grandparent's perspective and a little more interpersonal one. And the audience kind of got to know, like, my situation a little bit more. So, yeah, it's nice to kind of, like, be able to do that and let people get to know you a little bit.
They're not crying on audibly is tough.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you think about the terror before we had any help, it's scary. It's
Yes.
scary.
And I think a whole lot of this stuff, I mean, I normally don't cut him out of the background, but there's going to be quite a bit of stuff that's going on to a blooper reel because this was a lot today.
He's talking today. Can't complain about that either, because usually he doesn't talk at all.
Right. Right.
Let the boy talk.
He's pretty
This
quiet.
could be your what did he call this? Laurel and Hardy episode?
Yes.
It's stuck.
It is stuck. Turn it down.
Let it go. Ignore it.
Well,
Symbols. That's fine.
yeah, since I can't get him to turn his video down, I guess we'll call it there.
It can be our background music.
Right. I'll get struck on YouTube. So, well, guys, you know, it was awesome having you hang out today, and we were able to do this. I have never gotten you onto I have gotten you on a podcast project once before.
Yeah, I was the mom.
Yeah,
It was fun. A vampire mom.
it was cool. Maybe we'll have to sit down and do this again, like maybe after the school year or something, or maybe halfway through the school year, and see, like, we'll talk about how
When
he
he changes
progressed.
again.
Yeah, we'll talk about how he progressed and where he's at, and we'll do that then.
All right, sweet pea.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to the Brighter Spectrum podcast. If you have any comments, questions, or stories to share, or if you'd like to be a guest on the show, feel free to reach out to me at brighterspectrumpodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care and keep shining a light on the journey of parenting.
Thank you for listening.